what I'm going to be working on her today is moving her hips and shoulders over. I did this yesterday too, but mainly focus on moving her hips to set up for a lead change. Make sure this is on first. I hope it's on. If it's not, I'm sorry. This is just a lot of unedited stuff and no sound. But I've been riding her for a little bit now. I've been loping her and getting her exercised and stuff. Nothing too major, moving her shoulders over, lope straight lines, lope circles, and getting her a little bit softer. That's one of her main things, is getting her softer. And then in the turnaround, she just wants you to hold her. I've been working on some collection with her and going forward mainly. Her thing was going forward and collecting because she had no forward. And now I really don't have to hold her with my spurs. I'm not using my spurs. She's trying to go to campo. I'm going to kick on her because that was not right. And I'm just sending her forward. I'm just give her a bump. Just give her a bump. I know I'm letting her have her face, which that's okay. I'll be taking it up in a minute. Just not paying attention here. Steer her face. And one thing about her is that she doesn't really pay attention. Recently, she's been starting to lock on to what you're doing. She's round up. Main thing that I really do is I'm so much on the feel. Right now she's not collecting. Now she is. But she's not rounding her back out. I'm squeezing her. Now she's rounding her back out, so I'm just going to leave her alone. Get her attention in here. I don't have really she just heard me do that. I'm gonna bring her back. Oh, that was too hard. That was a stop. No. I'm trying to get her around before I ask anything. I want her to bring her back out. She's heavy on this. Up shoulder. Counter bender. Then go straight at it. She's going heavy on her right shoulder. Counter bender. Try to move her off of it. She's kind of leaning in, and now she's out, so I'm going to send her straight. I'm really big into shoulders and collection and getting them really soft, because before Hope wasn't, let's bring up Hope wasn't breaking at her pole, and now you can lope her and her pole's broken, and she has forward. Hope was always a forward horse, and now I'm working on her with forward and collection. I'm constantly using my spurs on her, so whenever I get kind of close to the mount block, I'm going to go ahead and ask her to move her left shoulders over. So I'm asking 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. I'm going to go back forward. Main thing, teaching a horse how to move their body and stuff, it's basically like ballet. You don't want them to just, if you're starting ballet as a kid or anything, or if you have a child that's in ballet, you always count by numbers, which I don't know, I don't do ballet. You go 1, 2, and 3, 4, and walk out. I'm still new at this talking on camera stuff. And Tim was actually shocked that we came back from lunch and I set up the camera. In which, I understand that. There's a would-be following us. Mostly most of my rides are comedy. Absolutely. Even whenever I'm not filming or anything, it's all comedy. She's not getting off of it, so I use my spur a bit. She's trying to spin. I don't want her to spin. I want her to go forward. There you go. And now she keeps her frame pretty well. I'm not asking her to stay here whenever I do. She knows to stay there. And like, you'd rather a horse build their muscle and top line just like that. Just let them find where they're comfortable. Right now she's heavy on the right side, so I'm gonna counter bend her. She's not paying attention. I'm gonna bump her kind of hard. Run forward. There you go. And the other day, whenever Tim was filming, way before he got here, I rode her. And it was storming. I have no steering because she's really soft, which that's fine. I want to have some steering, and I'd rather her be soft and then her just be heavy. Okay, now she's lugging on my hands. I'm gonna fuss at her for that. Kind of scaring her around up. She's really heavy on this right shoulder, so I'm gonna do that. Send her forward. I'm not really asking her to collect up as much as I would, but I've been collecting her and riding her, and so she's found what she's comfortable at, and it's right there. And now it may not seem like I'm doing anything, I'm just trotting. I'm just seeing if I have any steering, which I do. Just steer again, go straight, get her head up a little. She wants to fuss about it, that's fine. Now before, we just had to bang on her to go forward. Now, she's not really, I don't have to really bang on her to go forward. I'm actually squeezing her. Not really hard, but just squeezing her to stay in that frame. Okay, then I'm gonna use my leg by the girth and move that right shoulder over. Move it over. Or let her get soft. Right now she's kind of just playing it down. Let her be soft. There you go. There you go. Just by the end of that, she got soft and relaxed. She's really a fun mare to ride. Tim's messing with Bassa, I think. I think that's her name. I don't know how to say it right. That was not acceptable. I'm gonna ask her to move her right shoulder over. There you go. That's soft. And then I'm gonna go straight and pick her up. I'm picking her up. I'm there you go. So all this just goes into moving the hip over. Don't know what that weird little jog was. So I'm gonna ask her to move her shoulder over. Okay, and then over here, I'm probably gonna ask her to get kind of close to the mud. Right now she's kind of freaking out. We're not stopping. So I'm gonna go move her over, move her over, move her over, and then go straight. She's a horse that's really heavy on the right side, and I'd rather move her around on the right and get comfortable. One thing is that you have to become one with your horse and trust her. She's just looking in the barn alley. Grab some more rain. Not much rain, but gather my reins back up. Keep on collecting her. Push the shoulder out. Push it out. I spurred on her hard because that was a non-effort. Now she's fixing to probably get mad. Yesterday I was moving her hip over at the walk, just setting her up and stuff. Get her over because she's really heavy. She's trying to find an excuse to get away from everything. Fussed at her for that. Just by the way, I'm in a D-ring smooth mouth snaffle, which might tax a little bit more, kind of more girly than what Tim likes, as you can probably tell in her boots, in her splint boots. Right now she's holding this all by herself. There, she kind of leaked on my hand, and I fussed at her for that because she just went forward as it just dropped all of her weight on her front end. I'm gonna ask her to move her shoulder over. She's not doing that. I'm gonna hold. I'm gonna go forward. She's paying attention in the barn and not engaging her back end. Whenever I fuss at her like that, she's not engaging her back end, she's not listening. So I'm gonna get onto her kind of hard, not really hard, but tell her, hey, you're supposed to be using your back end. Okay, then I'm gonna push her shoulder over, and I'm gonna bring her back down to a walk. I don't like how she just kind of just flopped on my hand, so I'm gonna really get her nice and soft. There you go. She's lifting her back end and rounding herself out. And I'm going to just let her have a walk, just to cool down. Not really cool down, but just a little break mentally. And all of this stuff is basics to a flying lead change. You want basics instead of just rushing it. I know some things are natural for horses, and I know some trainers will take them out in the pasture, lope them around, and ask for a different lead, and they give it. Just everything's different for everybody, and you still have to train those cues eventually. You can't just go, I'm going to go to the right lead, and oh, we're going to go to the left lead. It's not how it works at all. So, I'm going to ask her to, right now she's not heavy. That was kind of rude, just looking at the mountain block. Just little things like that she wants to get away with. So I'm going to ask for her to move her hip over. Ask, I'm holding it. There you go, and then I'm going to release and keep forward. I just moved her hip to the right, as in a right lead lope departure. Now, if you're going to do this this is not the first levels of teaching this. This is more higher up. So I'm going to ask her again. She's not doing it with effort. She's kind of just sitting there. in a sticky situation now, so I'm just going to keep asking her to move it over. She's not going forward. There you go. I'm going to keep asking her. There you go. We're not walking into the wall. So I'm going to ask her again. There you go. Keep her forward. Keep her bent. There you go. That is a right lead lope off. And a right lead from, that's a left lead from a right lead, flying lead switch. I taste dirt. So I'm going to grab my reins back up. Now this time I'm going to ask for the left lead. So I'm going to move that back. We're going to go forward. Right now she's not going forward. She's not giving that shoulder. Let's work this. Let's work her getting off the shoulder and forward. There we go. Okay, then I'm going to ask for the same thing again. Not so hard. There you go. Get the shoulder up a little, but she's not doing it. I'm very picky about how my horses are. This is go forward. I still have my contact by the hip. There you go, just forward. I'm not doing much with the reins. I'm trying to get her around her body and get that engaged. Right now she's fighting me. She's gonna sit here. She's gonna take it away. All that was just her throwing a little tantrum. So I'm gonna ask again. There you go. Now forward, forward. There you go. And just, you have to just keep adding what you're doing. So I'm doing right leg by the back girth, then left leg by the shoulder, and asking her to move. Right now she's moving her shoulder over more than her hips. She's actually leaning into the shoulder. So moving. There you go. It didn't feel right, but I felt her start to do it. So I'm gonna ask for her to move her shoulders over first, and then her hip, and keep forward. There you go. Atta girl. Okay, now I'm gonna do the right loop off. Now she's gonna fight. There you go. I'm gonna ask her to go forward. And now she's trying to go to the wall. So that's okay. Because this is kind of like a side pass, but it's not like a side pass. There you go. You can't see me do it because I'm all the way over here, and she needs to go forward. She's not going forward, she's sucking back. I'm gonna ask her to walk. So moving that shoulder, and move the hip, and get her forward. She did this the other day, where she just said, "Peh." I'm not going to do that. No. I don't want her to say "peh." I want her to say, "Yes, I will do it," instead of just blowing me off. So I'm gonna. And that's what that goes into. Is that? She's always been silly about her little head toss, and that was the first time I've actually asked her to loop off, and it wasn't the best. Oh, break her back, get her on the wall. She just kind of didn't stop. She was waiting for me to pull her to stop. and she really didn't have her back end engaged there. So let her walk some. Now I'm going to do the left lead loop departure. It kind of wasn't the best. Now she's going to toss her head, which is fine. I'm not really asking her to steer, and now that steering was not it. She's all on her front end. Get her center. That's center. Let her go. Ooh. Let's see if she can do it. Okay. Let's move her hip over, because she's not. There you go. I want her hip to overtrack her shoulders, and which her. There you go. Shoulders wasn't overtracking there. Her shoulders were just taking over instead of her hip. My reins twisted. So I'm gonna ask her to move her hip. She's moving it, and I want forward, and I want that was not correct, and she just kind of told me to screw off just then. Move over. This shoulder is not running into the rope. Her left shoulder is not picking up. It's just going out. So I'm gonna do this, do that. There you go. That a girl. That was better. I'm gonna get her. That was better there. I'm asking her to round herself out a little. She's not steering as I would like. And pull. Back her up. Get her out. There you go. I want her to hustle out of there. Yes. I'm just rubbing the inside of my reins. That's great. I want her to get off of her front end. And now she's thinking. And normally whenever I lope her, she just gives us her opinion for like the first few seconds. And then she will stop shaking her head, but we have to tell her, you have to get onto her for it. And then loping her will help it. Let's see if I can. And now she's leaning into that shoulder. Move that hip. There you go. That was really nice. I've been riding her in the big pen, which the big pen is wet and it's drying out. The highest is like 82 today, which that's pretty high. Whoa. Back her up, get her off, and go. I'm fine with just a little bit of that leg action. I can feel she came up and she reached. And one thing I really like is like, I want her to draw, not really into the stop, but it goes into the working cow horse for the boxing, and the fence turns. Ask her to walk forward. Now she's pinching into my leg. That was better. Now she's gonna voice her opinions. I'm gonna get on to her for that. Now, just let her be. And now, with her right side is not her best loping side. Oh, good girl. I'm gonna let her sit there. She actually used her back end. Now she's waiting for me to tell her something. She actually pushed off of her back end. Back her. Get her out. Now, one thing about it is that she's kind of iffy in her low pulse, but she's really good. And Sonita is her name. I just remembered that halfway through a ride. Sonita is her name. And this is where Sonita is right now. In which I'm going to show y'all her spins. One thing about her, she's paying attention to Tim. I'm going to stop her. Then I'm gonna step forward, ask her to spin this way. She wants me to hold her. There you go. Ugh. There you go. She wants me to hold her in the spin, and I'm not going to. Go forward. Let's get her to walk forward some. Ask her to stop. Going to steer. I'm not holding her. I just get bumped on her. Just bump. And now I don't want to hold her, because if I hold her, she's just gonna want me to hold her the whole time. So I'm gonna walk her forward, get her eye to the left, because she's not really paying attention left. And I'm going to ask her to move over, pull, because that's not acceptable, and then go forward. That was a hey, pay attention. This is now that was a really good spin. I didn't have to hold her up, but I just needed to give her some assistance. And I'm gonna ask her to spin left. I don't want to hold her. I'm not holding her. A little pull. Give her a bump. Pull and go forward. Number one thing that I do not want to pull a horse into a spin. I want them to find it. She's finding it. This is just all her. I have to pull and let her find it again. And now we're going to walk out. Or try. Because if you pull a horse into a spin, they're going to want you to pull the rest of their lives. Because if you let them find the release and the spin, that's where they're going to release. Right now I'm not touching her. I'm not using no leg. I'm just going to give her a little bump. That was all her finding that. That's what I've been trying to get her in the spin is for her to she's not really finding it on this side, but she finds it. Yeah. That is Sonita. Tim was right there talking to me about how her spin is. And this is just how she's been for us. And we've hauled her to one show, and she was, whenever we got back from it, we can tell she matured a lot. Just, that was kind of a lot for her to take in a little bit. But that was just enough to give her a medium ride for this week, because yesterday I was just walking her, moving her hip over and all that. So this is Sonita, and thank y'all for watching Raven's comedy of today. Every single time I ride her, I always forget her name, but I can say it all day in the barn. For some reason, I just can. And whenever I ride her, I forget her name. Which, I don't know why I do that, but I just do it.